to start off, just in case somebody's just joining us, can you give us a layman's terms definition of what rent control really is?
Sure. So rent control comes in a variety of forms. Well, basically what it is, it's an attempt to control prices, right? So it's a regulation to control prices like we've seen in some other industries. And we know how well it's gone in industries where we've forced price regulation. But it comes in three basic flavors. One of the early ones that was attempted was a concept called strict price controls, where the government gets to decide exactly what percentage is going to be introduced each year. And often what it was in the early days was they just froze rent, and they just said, this is the rent, and it doesn't matter what is happening in the economy right now, but that's always going to be the rent. That really didn't work very well. New York was one of the pioneers in that field. And when New York went through that, they saw an incredible drop in available rental housing. So they changed, and they, just like a lot of other jurisdictions, changed to other forms. So for example, so the other forms are basically vacancy control and vacancy decontrol. So those are the three primary models that we see jurisdictions use. In my home province of Ontario, which went through very similar things to the various U.S. states and the Canadian provinces, went through all three of those. Currently sitting at vacancy decontrol. So let me just explain a little bit. So we talked about strict price control. Vacancy control is where prices are allowed to increase, usually pegged to something like inflation. But then what happens is when one tenant moves out and another tenant moves in, the new tenant is made aware of the old rent. And in some jurisdictions, that's just a guideline, or in other jurisdictions, it's strictly controlled, and that the new tenant can appeal back to a governing body, a tribunal, etc., in order to be able to get the same rent as the previous tenant. And then what's become more popular, because it seems to strike a balance between the intentions of rent control and still have the ability of creating new rental housing, is a concept called vacancy decontrol. So that's where an incumbent tenant will get annual increases. Usually it's pegged at the rate of inflation. But then what happens is when a tenant moves out and a new tenant moves in, you get to reset the rent to market price. And that has obvious benefits for everybody in that scenario. So those are the three key models.
Hey, thanks for watching. To watch the full episode, click right here. And to watch another great clip, click right here. And let me know what you think. Leave a comment, hit the like button. It really helps out the channel. And until next time, happy investing.